Hello, hello,
This is the podcast, Girls.
and the city. You are welcomed by your two lovely co-hosts, me, Susanna, who decided to ditch one-liner today because I can't be bothered to make up one.
And me, Elizabeth, who's decided it's Lover Girl summer this year. Anyways, each week we pick an episode of Sex and the City, we watch it, we dissect it, we try to answer the question, adding some personal spice. And this week we've added a guest. Meet Olivia.
Welcome.
Hi.
Great intros. Anyways, how's it going?
Do you want to maybe give like a little introduction of who Olivia
Hi.
is?
Anyways, my friend Olivia,
Hello.
she lives in DC with me.
We know
High
each other
school
from high
together.
school.
How did you meet?
High school.
Oh,
We went to boarding
so
school
like
together.
many years ago.
It's not that many, okay? It's like,
Half of your life, no?
no, it's not.
You're really calling us out here.
High school.
We're
is,
only
like,
in our 20s. We're just
16.
babies.
Yeah, fair. Okay, almost.
It was like 2015-ish.
Well,
Yeah.
1/3 of your life.
Okay, whatever. Anyway,
Yeah,
math is
anyway.
hard. But yeah, we are traveling to London because girls trip, and we've made it over to London, and we're gonna go to Dublin.
Hell yeah, we are.
We've got some interest in Irish men, so we'll see.
What?
Even never had a thing for Irish men.
I don't really know how Irishmen look like.
Yeah, me neither. That's what I'm going to see.
They sort of, I feel like they're,
I like the very light, like kind of.
They're ginger.
Ginger?
They're meant to be ginger. Leprechauns.
there's definitely more gingers there than anywhere else I've been, but
Is that something you like?
no.
Okay,
But I
well,
do like the
we'll
accent.
see the Irishman. We'll report back next time. How about that? 'Cause
Next episode, guys, you will hear.
We'll put up a slideshow of our
We'll have
five.
a slideshow. I brought mini mics, so maybe we'll do some recordings and voiceovers. How's
You keep saying that.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
So, how are you?
I'm good. I what did I do? I flew in yesterday. I rallied through the day. We then went out last night. And yes, you indeed did receive a text from me at 5 a.m. in the morning.
Did I?
This morning.
That was at 5. Oh my god.
Because we just got home.
We've had like completely different Fridays, okay? So, do you want to talk a little bit more about yours?
Yeah, let's hear it.
I mean, sure, we went to Magic Mike, which was great.
Recommend, by the way. Like, if you are. They do this in US, right? As well.
yeah, I
they
think in
do.
Vegas.
In Vegas.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
definitely go, guys. I also been there a few months ago. An immersive experience.
It was 100 out of 10.
Yeah, so our friend, before we went here, and like when we just got the tickets, she made us sit down and watch the movie. And not like all of them. It's like the last one where they actually set up the show. Yeah, it was an interesting preparation for it.
Actually, I thought that I came away from it glad that we watched the movie first because I think there were some things where if I didn't have that context, I would have sat there and been like, what the hell is
I
going
still didn't get
on?
the unicorn thing.
Yeah, I
I-
can't speak on
I don't
that.
even know if I've seen Magic Mike.
The movie?
Yeah.
Okay, so you just went into the show like,
I was a supportive older cousin.
oh, super. But no, the show was really good. They're really talented. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like hotness aside,
That's
just
really
their
like a
skill.
Performance, really. First and foremost.
True.
And
True.
the sweaty abs.
Yeah.
Olivia was truly fascinated by that part of the
I mean, they are ripped, honestly. Like,
But they do that every day, like multiple times a day. They have shows like the shows.
I know, like, no
Nice.
wonder they have like a 10-pack.
Yeah,
they don't have time to eat.
they don't have time to eat. I mean, I don't have time to eat for a different reason, but like not for the hot one. Yeah, and then we just went out after, which was fun.
And you stay up until 5 a.m. in the morning. By the way, you know what time I woke up?
But
6 a.m.
we were just changing shifts.
So I came home. So we met yesterday, and then I came home and I watched from like 6 until 11. I went to my bed straight away, and I watched The White Lotus.
Oh,
Because I still
wait,
haven't-
like season 3.
No, one.
One. Oh, you're
see-
catching
I
up.
didn't
I haven't
see
seen
that.
any of it.
Yeah, but I was like, I am feeling like staying in bed and just watching.
What a
and
Friday. I love
Yeah, and then I
I
fell
mean, we do
asleep.
that in DC sometimes. Like,
Yeah, for
when you
sure.
just, like a good Lion Friday.
Yeah.
Just like binge a show. Yeah, I do that.
Yeah, so I woke up maybe close to you going back to bed. But anyway,
Just passing in the night.
Yeah, no, just passing shit. Yeah, how are you otherwise?
how am I? It's been a long time,
It's
I
not-
feel.
I guess.
I am good. Summer in London. You can't see it, but it's really sunny outside.
Surprisingly, actually.
It's perfection.
And the weather is great. So I always relate to weather, but it really makes a difference for me.
It's just a
And
blossoming, beautiful flower. That's why.
yeah, and my allergy is gone also, so I don't
Woo!
mind that anymore. Um, but honestly, I think I'm having the quiet life compared to you.
Okay, my life's
Luckily.
not that rowdy.
No, you have been traveling like every weekend
That's
somewhere.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna continue traveling every time. Somewhere for fun.
I have been working on the weekends because I need to, you know, as you guys probably know, my objectives for 2025 and my reflections I did in January. I need to put the work in, I guess. So yeah, I'm I'm motivated, but it feels like I don't really want to chill before I feel I am in the right spot. That I need to do the work.
It's very rigorous. of
Yeah.
you.
So
Good for you.
that's I don't know. Like it's been just work recently.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
And sleeping. I couldn't really sleep well this week. Is that for you as well?
No, can't relate.
I'm a solid sleeper, I gotta say.
Yeah.
It's one of my
Oh
talents.
wow, I would
We
love
share that superpower.
Yeah.
No,
That's it.
I'm like the most sensitive sleeper ever.
Crazy, crazy.
So, but we have a guest today.
I'm very happy to be here.
And I mean, we have a pretty good episode for her,
And we
I
have a
think.
very good episode. I think which we specifically selected this episode.
Yeah.
Olivia, because you have a lot to say.
She has experience. Let's put
She
it
has
that way.
experience.
Yes.
Experience.
It's a personal topics, one might say.
I mean, yeah. The episode. So season 2, episode 8, the man, the myth, the Viagra.
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it. I go for it. I thought you were reading the
No,
summary.
I will. Just like before I dive into the episode.
Yeah.
This just popped into my mind now, so I'm gonna ask you guys before I forget.
Okay.
Scared.
Have you ever met the guy who wasn't Viagra?
No.
No.
We were actually started talking about this. No.
I've met some that needed it, but
I mean, do guys, even if they
Was it
do,
because
I
he
don't
was
know if they
old,
mention
or
it.
he was just not functional?
no, I think
I think it's when people are drunk.
yeah, I think
Oh,
he
like
was like
libido.
drunk or he was high or something. I don't know. He was not sober, period.
Mm.
So I don't know.
Well, I'm just realizing that we have an open balcony and there's literally a guy.
Amazing. Does he want to
And
think
he's
it-
just leaving.
I thought he wanted his lunch with a side of hot conversation.
put on this?
We could have like
We could ask him.
over. Sir.
Please take the mic. So
So what do you think
What
of
is your-
Viagra? Anyway, let's maybe move to the actual topic. of
okay,
today.
fine. Yeah, do you want to do the summary?
Yeah, so I will read from my phone because
She's organized.
I need to have my notes in front of me.
Organized queen.
Slay. All right, so this episode, as already Elizabeth said, is called The Man, the Myth, and the Viagra. And there are a lot of myths or romance myths that we project in our lives, reflected in this episode. But yeah, let's go into personal stories of each. So, as we know, Beak and Carrie are together, back together,
Back on.
and it's
Eye
time to
roll.
go to shit again. But that's just my stake. Anyway, Carrie is glowing because the episode started with her and Mr. B going for amazing dinner to this Italian restaurant, and he introduced her as his girlfriend
To the waiter.
publicly for the first time in
The waiter.
to the waiter. But I mean, he kind of felt like they have quite close relationship.
Yeah, he's a
so it
regular
wasn't like
there.
a stranger.
Yeah.
And she is, I mean, blossoming.
She's over the moon about it.
Yeah, she was like, "Oh my god, it's the first time you called me a girlfriend," and he's like, "Yeah, with you being in
The room.
in the
Yeah.
room." So she's kind of having, I think, the honeymoon phase
Again.
properly.
Again.
I mean, I can see,
I'm not to be the
right?
but
Like
yeah.
he
Yeah.
is actually being better than the first time.
On the surface.
Yeah, it seems to be better. So I get it. And when he's good, I think he is really charming.
Yeah.
So yeah, they go to the restaurant and then Carrie move like long story short, she is having dinner with Mr. Big, and Miranda calls her, being like, "Hey, where are you? I'm waiting for you." And Carrie said, "Oh, I went for dinner to Mr. Big's place because he decided to make me dinner, and I kind of didn't tell you that I will not make it."
She said she like left a message on her voice machine.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
back in the day of no cell phones.
Back in the day, no cell phone. She's like, "Yeah, I left you a message. You know, I get it." And she's like, "No."
So yeah, Miranda was waiting for Carrie to show up for the dinner that they agreed to, where Carrie last minute decided that she's actually rather gonna join Mr. Big and his wheel dinner that he made, and rather than going with Miranda. Obviously, Miranda is pissed, and they kind of have an exchange over the phone.
Fight.
Yeah, she's pissed because coming to Miranda, I think she is generally quite bitter in this episode. She goes to a comedy show with the guy that she has been dating, and it looks pretty good until she finds out that he has a wife.
Well, he said he was divorced.
Yeah,
And then his
3 years
wife
ago.
calls. Yeah.
And then she understands that he's in a separation and not technically divorced yet.
Mic drop.
So she's immediately like, "Bye, I am separating now from you. This is separation." I mean, iconic. I like it. And so she's kind of bitter in this whole episode because she feels lied to from the guy, and generally like men are just trash. And then her friend ditches her, which I feel like Miranda and Carrie have this really weird relationship where they are kind of like they can hurt each other the most, I feel.
Yeah, I feel like they're most invested in it. Charlotte would be too, actually. I think Samantha would like brush it off and be like, "Whatever, it's fine."
Yeah, but I feel like Miranda and Carrie have this very close relationship, but at the same time, they are also the ones that hurt each other the most.
Yeah.
So this is like one of the examples where Miranda is really pissed and, um, yeah, I'm not really happy about Carrie. And then Carrie kind of wants to, I think, like make it up for the whole situation. So she wants basically, she decided to organize a dinner where she will, for the first time, officially introduce Mr. Biggs to her friend group.
Again. Well, they've
Again.
met him before, yeah, because I think it's because they're talking about like the myths and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, the fact that you guys are together, like that just proves them like the myths are real." And she like questions it, and so I think to get herself to stop from questioning it, she's like, "I'm gonna make it happen. He's gonna meet my friends again. It's gonna be really
Yeah,
nice
I
time."
mean, like that's the thing. Yeah, like Miranda is quite skeptical about why the hell are you with him again? Because I mean, earlier on in this episode, and I'm kind of going all around the place. That's because I'm not reading my notes.
You're doing a great job.
Because they have a I think breakfast or lunch, whatever, you know, the usual, and they're talking about the fact that unless the guy is married, gay, or kind of trashed because of recent divorce, there are no normal men left. And then Charlotte says, like, "No, that's not true. Like, look at Karen, Mr. Big. Like, you know, good endings happen." And yeah, Miranda and Samantha very skeptical about that. So I think like, yeah, what you said. Carrie is trying to show that Mr. Big and her really are real by introducing him to her friends. Which yeah, going on further to the episode, and I think something we will also discuss in today is when she comes to pick him up. So first he's like, "Yeah, of course," which Carrie again, she's like all over the moon because she's like, "Oh my god, he wants to go," and
Like, he's taking it seriously.
yeah, like, and there is like no friction between me having to convince him and him just kind of coming.
It's kind of funny because we have a story that similar happened
Really?
when these two were meeting someone I was seeing. So we'll tell
Okay,
that in
so
a bit.
that's what we open with, okay? Remind me. So yeah, she's coming to pick him up, and he opens in pajama, I think.
He was getting ready. He like had a
Was
button-up
he?
shirt, and he was like wearing his
He was like,
boxers.
"Are you okay if I ditch this because it's raining and I've been out the whole day?" He
Lame.
has
a 42-year-old baby excuse to it.
yeah, kind of like, "I'm lazy to go," basically. Like, it's not a big deal. You can still meet your friends. They are your friends. I would prefer to stay in. And yeah, something again to unwrap. But she basically says okay and goes to dinner and stay in the denial, which is also the name of the restaurant.
Yeah, very
I
convenient.
like that.
That's like iconic. So she kind of lies to her friends about Mr. Big ditching them, and she's like, "Yeah, he's still at work. Like he might come later." Um, moving forward, they're like, "Yeah, where is Mr. Big?" And Miranda is starting to really question her. And he shows up at the end,
Surprisingly.
surprising to everyone, even Carrie, and that kind of, she's again all around the place, very happy that he came. He's being charming, and Miranda, I think, is challenged with her skepticism about men, and that's like another storyline here. So when she's ditched, oh my god, I'm kind of going all around the place. But,
No worries.
when she's ditched by Carrie, she ends up at the bar drinking something, and we meet Steve for the first time, which, as we will learn later on, is gonna be quite a big character in this series. But he's a bartender and he kind of hits on her.
Kind of.
I
Yeah.
mean, he's kind of funny and snarky. Like he's flirty
He's
in his
really-
own way.
He's
Yeah.
really, I would say,
Pushing Miranda's buttons.
but also dominant in this episode.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think he is. I don't think he's submissive. I just think he lets her take charge.
yeah. So anyway, he kind of goes after her. She is really not into that and pushing him away. She's like, "Yeah, I'm kind of pissed because I got a fight. I was in a fight with my friend," and he kind of continues talking to her. They end up sleeping together.
Yeah.
So,
The power of a bartender.
yeah, I think some people have more to say on that topic in this
Yeah.
group chat. But anyway, they woke up in her place next morning, and she kind of looks at it as one night stand, where he's like, "Yeah, can I get your number?" She's like, "Why do you need my number? Like, this is a one night stand. I know you're gonna ditch me at some point." And he's like, "No, I actually like you." She still pushes him away, and then he tries. He goes with her for drinks before the dinner with friends, and when kind of coming back to with Carrie and Mr. Big, when Miranda sees that Mr. Big shows up, he runs after Steve, and
They kiss in the rain.
yeah. And romantic ending. Charlotte, really, besides the fact that she was kind of telling the girls like, "Look, Carrie is in happy ending," she wasn't really in this episode much.
She's still there. She's just always the.
There was
lover
no
girl that remains.
storyline of Charlotte.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then we have Samantha, closing story of my
My girl.
monologue. She meets an older man, an older affluent man.
Samantha, the cosmopolitan, and Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's pretty strong, and I would say to the point.
Yeah.
Opening line, and this man is everything I guess you imagine when you think about sugar daddy.
Yeah, he was just like a dude who was meeting with Donald Trump at the time, a very wealthy businessman, like sealing a deal. And Samantha's just there,
And she kind of gets charmed by him, and thinks about this whole idea of dating an older man and being given gifts. Until the point and I think like what I liked about this episode, and like Samantha specifically, she didn't start to date him because of the wealth. She
Yeah.
was more like, "Well, let's try. Like, I'm open to date the older one because he's actually nice to me and I like the
He's
vibe."
nice. There's
You
good
think it wasn't because of
conversation.
the wealth?
No,
I don't think it
I think
is.
she doesn't need that. Like, she's wealthy by herself.
Yeah.
I think she wasn't doing it for the wrong reason. She was more like, "Yeah, that's like good addition." And she
Yeah.
was enjoying this lifestyle, but I think she genuinely was like, "Yeah, let's give it a try." Until
I don't know if it was like for the relationship though. It's
no, it
not-
was for fun.
I think it was more
It's
of her
for the
having-
plot.
It's for the plot.
Yeah.
It's for the experiment. And
I mean, but like, how many times did Samantha actually do stuff for relationships? She always went for
It's-
fun.
yeah.
most of the
Yeah.
time. So yeah,
Not
she
so
was
much
kind of
for her.
dating him until they ended up in bed, and yeah, I'm just gonna say directly, she saw his ass.
Saggy, wrinkly.
That was too old for her and her standards, or maybe who she is as a person. I think she felt like I wouldn't kind of give up on me and who I am. So yeah, she runs away. and never see the guy again. I mean, he was nice to her.
Yeah,
but
she
I
got
get
some
it.
diamonds out of it, didn't she?
Yeah, I don't know if she kept that.
I think
Good
she might.
question. Anyway, so
Definitely.
this was my long intro to the episode. And
question.
question we have for today's episode is: are we willing to believe anything to date?
All right. Well, anyways, we're not gonna answer the question just yet, though.
Yeah.
Should we start with?
So I said something like 2 minutes ago where like I want to start with that. So you said something.
Oh, is it my story
Yeah.
of me having friends meeting someone that? This is a spicy one to start with. Okay.
I mean, let's
Um.
you know,
Okay.
direct
The
to the
context of this is actually I don't know if it's like very similar to Carrie's or not, but like without giving too much detail into like what happened because I don't think that's really relevant anymore. But like when I
Thank God.
initially
like yeah.
Then cheers to that.
um anyways, like when I initially met the guy, one of our friends, she actually was with me that night. So she's met him before, like the first like same day that I met him. And then I think like what 6 7 months after, like I was still like seeing him, and my friends have never like really interacted with him before. It's kind of weird because like usually you think like, oh, like when you go out with your friends, like whoever you're seeing usually goes out with you too. Was never the case.
Is that the case for you?
I would say so. Like at least like my last relationship, I would say my ex was pretty close with like my friends and my friend group, and we'd all go out to like dinners and like on nights out and stuff like that. Like I
Mhm.
think it was pretty normal. Because he had his like guy friend group and I had my girlfriend group, and like we all would mingle. And that was normal. Whereas in this case, and this probably should have been a flag for the relationship, was like if my
It was. We told you about 1 billion times.
anyways, we decided like randomly, I was like spending time with him. He wanted to hang out, but I was like, I have like plans with my friends and stuff like that. He's like, have them join, like, which was shocking because he was like never one to make plans or to even say like, oh, have your friends join us. Like he was never like the one to bring up that initiative. So I had like a bit of a Carrie moment and be like, whoa, he's taking this seriously. He wants to meet my friends. Like I thought this was like a positive thing. So I understand Carrie here.
How long were you dating for that?
I think like 7.
What
Dating
about-
is a bit of a
Sorry,
stretch too. It was very like on and off. Like we weren't really sure what we were doing, but like I think the intentions of dating
It's basically
were there.
dating without the label.
Yeah, I was dating
like
without the
how,
label.
how long have you been
Like 7
have you
months,
had
I'd say.
seeing each other?
Yeah,
7 months.
yeah, the time
Wow.
I'd say.
Okay.
Um,
At that point, like, even if you're not officially boyfriend, girlfriend, there should be more overlap with your friends.
yeah, no, right. So should be more natural, in my understanding. But anywho, so and then it like, and I was like, okay, fine, great. The girls are on board. The girls are like, we're getting ready. We're gonna like show up there. Everyone across
Gearing up for battle.
Like you were kind of expecting to see like who the guy is.
Well, I had
They-
heard
they know what he
so
looks like.
much about him.
Yeah, like stories and like again, and it's hard to like really understand a person because like you're hearing things from like the perspective of like occasionally the good, but mostly the bad, and like it's hard to really balance that out. So I totally understand that. But he was nervous. They were like nervous slash gearing up for battle, which was kind of hilarious. And we got to a place, it was very busy. We tried to save seats. It was like hard to like get seats. All sitting in a row. He was nervous, trying to like make really bad comments and like trying to make really bad jokes to a point like their humors don't mesh. And he like started making like jokes that would offend them. And so like one of our friends literally just got pissed. She was like, we're going. And so like it ended very badly. So it was not the sorry, it was not like the Mr. Big conversation, but Mr. Big also kind of asked a weird question of like, oh, did you end up sleeping with the like the old guy, Samantha?
Yeah, but I mean, it was like from all these girls, Samantha would be the only one that takes it.
Yeah.
This question.
And she would think
Yeah.
it's funny.
Yeah.
So like
I think he knew his audience with that one.
yeah. Whereas like
This guy did not know his audience, or he knew and was just too stupid to figure it out.
he wasn't trying to impress anyone, and that was the thing. He was
Wait,
nervous.
so was he actually trying to impress them and you guys?
He
Or
thought it was
what
funny.
was the
he
objective
thought
here?
he like
Great
in
question.
his way of like trying to make people feel comfortable is like try and flirt with them, even though they're like my friends. And I was like, dude, like
That was his attempt at flirting.
that was his flirting.
How did that work on you?
I was gonna ask, like, do you
don't
think that she has the right choice of men? Because if that was like
Not in this scenario, guys.
That one was a doozy.
But anywho, so yeah, it's a weird like circumstance of trying to like mesh your friends, and if like it really doesn't mesh, I do think it's kind of an indicator for the relationship because like your friends know you best. You're like you sent like hand select them, and they know you from all aspects of your life. So like if they can't blend, then like bit of an issue.
I agree. What do you think?
Okay, so I've never had like a serious boyfriend or anything before, so it's hard for me to say from my perspective, but from being in this situation with you, I went into it having heard quite a bit about this man, not good things for the most part, but I personally went into it determined like I'm going to enter neutral. I'm going to like give him a chance.
Goes out.
Yes, exactly. So I was like, I'm gonna sort of put that in a box and tuck that away for now, and we're gonna see how this goes. And it was just like, I mean, you could say that he's an awkward person, but that would be a very kind excuse to put it. It was just, I mean, I couldn't understand what you saw in him
I
based
don't.
on his personality and
Did you
everything.
challenge her afterwards?
Oh, yeah,
We had like big discussions after this. Yeah.
for
Again,
sure.
and long story short, how long did it take for you to ditch him after this?
Oh, I mean, for different reasons, a while. For different reasons, for a number of reasons. Um,
A long time.
a long time, a long time. But anyways,
But I do agree. It's a indicator for sure.
yeah,
I think.
yeah.
No, I mean like from my own, experience, there are what you said, like there are these friends that they know you for like majority of your life, and they
Yeah.
kind of saw you going through different phases, like how you react in different situations. So I always take their if they make comments, I take them seriously. And I remember when I was ending one of my relationships, like it was the kind of end of the relationship, so things obviously weren't as great.
Yeah.
I met with them and they literally told me like, oh gosh, so they are Slovak. I don't know how to translate this, but kind of like you look really bad. That's what they
No, no, it's true because like usually when you're like happy with a person, you bring them around, you're like happy, you're like bubbly, you're
Yeah.
glowing.
But he was
Whereas,
like,
like-
he was not there with me. It was just us.
Oh,
Yeah,
so just like
so-
a reflection.
Yeah. Like we met and she and I mean it was more of them, and they were like, "You look really bad. Like your spirit is gone."
Yeah.
And that moment, like you kind of already feel things are not going great. But if you get this kind of external feedback as well, and it's like I don't think that like it ever happened this extreme. They
Yeah.
tell me like this directly, so I was like, yeah, okay. Clearly, like this is probably not the right way.
That's
to
taking a
go.
toll on you. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was very good kind of indicator for me, and I'm really happy that friends I have friends like these that kind of give me feedback, not maybe that often, because I also think like at the end of the day everyone needs different things, and just because I might not like necessarily your partner, it doesn't mean that it's not the right choice for you. But yeah, like if you see that like your friend is spiraling or struggling, I
Yeah.
think that's a really good indicator. Having said that, I do also agree that if you introduce them to your friends and there is a clear clash,
Yeah.
I would not want to be having a relationship like that. Like,
No.
you don't want to lose your friends just to be with one person.
No, for sure. And you
right?
don't like you definitely have to choose like I don't want to say alliances, but it's kind of like that. Like if they don't mesh, you're gonna have to make a choice. In my case, it's always like my friends because again, I picked them in the first place. I like them better. But like guys also have the weird perspective of like some of them are like they try their hardest to fit into like the friend group or like at least be friendly with their friends.
Mm.
You don't have to be best friends, but like be kind acquaintances. But then there's also guys who are like, oh, they're just her bitchy friends. They're not gonna like me anyways. They're just all jealous. And I was
Red
like,
flag. Like,
That's
are you
just
kidding
like
me?
that's just not mature.
no, and yeah, and I know like that exists out there, and I'm like, you're just like extremely immature. Because like if anything, like I'm thinking from my perspective, like even if it's like people I don't like agree with, like I don't politically align with them. Let's say that, right? Or like if I meet their friends and we just disagree, I'm not gonna say they're a bad person, but I'm still gonna be nice to them, and I'm still gonna be like friendly, and I'm gonna be able to be in the same room as them.
Yeah.
So I think it's just more of like how you are as a person, how you can mesh in just like different kind of environments.
Yeah. I feel like when you're that romantically entwined with someone, whether it's officially labeled or not, you're sharing a part of your life with them, and part of your life is your friends. And so they at least need to be respectful about it. And
Put some effort in.
yeah,
And like
yeah,
recognize, like I think, and I can't going back to the episode when my partner is introducing me to his friends for the first time, I would take it really serious.
Yes.
Because like
Yeah.
you want to make sure that you kind of leave a good impression, and that like there's definitely some kind of, you know, judgment gonna come from them.
You
Like
go into it knowing.
exactly, like you want to be like, okay, I know how much this means to you. Like these are your friends.
Yeah.
So I want to make this as good as it can be. Like I also probably want to be friendly with them at some point,
Yeah.
right? So if you are like, yeah, I don't really care meeting them or not, I feel that's really disrespectful to you, but also like
Mhm.
how important this relationship for you is, because
Yes.
are you thinking about you and like how this relationship making you better, or are
Yeah.
you thinking about us and building this together?
No, for sure. Because I think it's also like when people introduce their friends, they're also like vulnerable to a degree, right? Because like sometimes people will know a lot of stories, they'll tell things, and like it's like the next step in the progression of the relationship of like, oh, they're gonna trust me to know the people closest to them. It's not their family, but still, like
It's
it's a
like a
step
family.
forward.
Chosen
is.
family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so kind of like coming back to one of the big events here, we obviously know that Carrie ditches Miranda for spending time with Mr. Big. And my question to you guys is, have you ever experienced something like this, or even
Ditching.
done that, that you ditch your friends,
Poor guy.
kind of ghost them because of a relationship,
I guess.
but then like kind of use them for emotional support when things were going wrong?
I feel like I've done that unintentionally. But it's like sometimes when you're like in a new relationship and like people do see it, it's like sometimes like someone will meet someone, they'll like disappear for a second because they're like so infatuated with that like honeymoon phase, right? And I think that's perfectly normal as long as they come back out of it.
Yeah.
Um, if it just they're in this relationship and they're so isolated from everything else in their life that they can't like combine their worlds, then I think that's gonna be like
Red
probably
flag.
an issue down the
Mm-mm-mm.
line. I judge people probably on a yeah.
But like this very direct way, like if my friend that, you know, very close friend, we agreed to go for dinner, and I mean it was different time, like
Yeah.
probably today Carrie would just write her a message being like, hey, I can't make it.
Yeah.
Write our text.
And that time she couldn't really reach Miranda because she left a message on her phone at home.
Home phone,
Yeah,
yeah.
like Miranda wasn't at home. So I mean,
I'd be pissed.
I would be feeling so disrespected.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you're sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've done that. Yeah, probably like last year.
And I feel like Carrie in the episode didn't really do anything to smooth it over either.
No.
Like if one of my
She didn't
friends had
even
done
apologize.
that,
I think like at
no.
least apologize. Be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like I sent you a message. You
She was
missed it."
like, "Can you get the Miranda back on the phone?"
yeah, that was like a little sassy. I would have been like, oh, let's like reschedule it.
That's
Let
a
me make it up
gaslight.
to you, like that kind of thing.
You did something wrong, and then you gaslight me by feeling offended by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was a little weird. That was a little weird. I agree. Surprised that Miranda even showed up for the dinner with Big, actually.
Right. Yeah, that was big of her to
Big
do
of her to do.
actually.
Yeah.
I feel like bottom line, your friends are always going to be there for you, and that man, you never know if he's always going to be there for you. So I think at the end of the day, you
Especially based on the history, right?
yeah, yeah,
track record. Because she also said something. She's like, she wasn't even upset about her ditching. She's like, this relationship hasn't changed. It's still all about him, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
Who said
that's
that?
Miranda did.
Yeah, yeah, like okay, so like at the end of the episode, because like I think the beginning of the episode, Charlotte was basically saying, "Oh look, Mr. Big has changed. It's possible to have a good ending even if it starts crappy."
Yeah.
And then like it basically led to Miranda was like, "Yeah, it's still the same. Like he's still
yeah,
not being respectful or
Of your time or boundaries or choices.
Exactly.
Yeah, because he's like, oh no, I have veal. Come over now. And it is a rare occasion that he like makes dinner, sure, but like maybe make it tomorrow night.
exactly like I
Change
was
the
thinking
date.
like why couldn't she just, I mean it's scary, so I know why, but like you can always be like, yeah, I am meeting my friend today, can we do it tomorrow? Like,
Yeah.
what's the big deal? But especially if you're dating someone that is not like 2 months old,
Right.
like
Yeah.
they have known each other for a year probably at that point.
yeah. I feel like Miranda was trying to sort of pop her out of her bubble when she was saying like it's still all about him, but I think it's hard when like Carrie or one of your friends doesn't want to be pulled out of that bubble. which is fair. It's
Sometimes the
understandable.
bubble is very tough, okay?
Yeah, and I think like there is some resistance there, and I think that was sort of where Carrie's snapback reaction was coming from. Like she didn't want to be pulled out of that little happy bubble because it's a nice place to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, she wanted to stay in the delusion that
Yeah, the
you know,
Lululand.
exactly
Okay,
like.
there's like good Lululand and there is like, oh no, we're going down the wrong
I
path.
mean, I literally said like stay delusion, it works. So I do.
There's different kinds of delusion though.
I do, but like there is a moment where you're just gaslighting yourself
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
because you do. Okay, now I don't know how this is gonna sound.
That's gonna be fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Okay. Anyway, so what was I saying? Or like delusional to the point that you're gaslighting yourself and hurting yourself. And that is, yeah, it's gonna hurt you anyway at some point.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's scary, nothing new, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that there is some character development there at all. So, at least she's consistent.
Okay.
Consistently a shitty friend. Oh wait, can I swear?
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah, we were talking about blowjobs and like threesomes the other day, so like.
Fair enough.
Anyway, one more thing about this whole situation though. So I want to hear your take on the fact that when she came to his place already going for dinner, he was basically like, "Yeah, I don't feel like going.
I was checked out.
Yeah, like, are you okay with not?"
But that's when it confirms Miranda's point.
Wait, I'm not
Sorry.
finished. And basically, she didn't challenge him. She was like feeling inside of her that this is not good, but she was just
Her
like,
bubble.
okay, and she left. No,
Yeah.
no, like, you know,
She rolled over.
yeah, no challenging him on that.
I don't know if there is a point in challenging him that because are you going to change a 42-year-old man?
But like, you can say like, but do you understand this is very important to me? Like, you meeting my friends for the first time, like explaining basically, she just kind of dodged it and then just kept it inside of her.
Yeah.
I guess it was a little passive aggressive of her, maybe. But
I don't even know if it was passive aggressive though.
I don't know if it was
I don't
aggressive.
think
It was just
so.
passive.
Yes.
She let it pass.
Yeah, like it was
She did let it.
basically she didn't challenge him, and so I don't think he maybe even realized that how important that was for her.
Well, he did show up in the end, so I think he did realize it.
Yeah. I think
Okay.
the fact that he initially didn't realize how important it was, that's like yellow flag. I need flags for this. I can just hold them up whenever something comes up.
Color the page for you next.
Like he should know at this point in knowing Carrie for so long how important her friends are to her and such a central point of her life for him to be like, oh, and she made a point of being like, I want you to get to know my friends better. I want them to get to know. And for him to even assume to the point where he was just not ready and he had sort of, by him not getting ready, he was like, I'm not going no matter what she says kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I would definitely challenge. Like, I would either challenge with my face, so like you can see that I'm pissed, or I will tell directly, like, you know how this is important.
There
to
are
me?
times when your face says you're pissed and you're not really pissed, though.
I think my face says exactly how I'm feeling.
This is news for me. What? No, this is just Eastern European. Like,
Yeah,
that's just chill.
that's what I'm
face,
saying.
right? Like, I'm just chilling. No,
That's probably another myth we should discuss. But anyways, back to the topic.
Anyway, so what do we have next?
We have the age gap. Not the age gap, but dating older men.
Yeah.
Cue Olivia.
So,
All right, so this is the reason why we thought like it would be a great episode for Olivia because, unlike when I've had experiences, I think last summer we had a bit of a blip and we were hanging out with 23-year-olds. Olivia does it on the opposite end. She'll just be interested in older men.
okay, so let's start with the question that Samantha asked.
Samantha asked, like,
what's your
what's your
feeling?
age ceiling
Yeah.
with men?
Me?
Yeah.
I would say, okay, so I'm 27.
Just maybe.
My age ceiling would probably be like 55, I would say,
Susanna?
which I don't think is that bad.
Wait, 55?
Yeah.
Can I ask you how old are your parents?
So my parents are 14 years apart.
Oh, okay.
Um,
That's why that explains it. Like, we resolved the question.
It's what
It's
she's seeing in the
genetic.
norm.
Yeah, that's what normal is to you.
I guess so, yeah. No, my dad is like maybe 68 or something, and then my mom is 54.
I was just gonna ask you, like, can you imagine that your boyfriend would be the same age as your mom?
You know, I had not thought about that until this moment, and that would be kind of weird.
That's
Like,
only a 7-year age difference from my dad, which is
yeah, I can't say I've ever done the math in those terms before. But I guess it would be, I mean, I've never brought anyone home to meet my parents or anything like that. So it would definitely add a different level. But I also feel like they have no place to judge because they have their age difference. So
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. It's just like I've heard many kind of this kind of comparison where it'd be like, oh my God, you are as old as my
yeah.
sister if you bring someone younger, or like,
I mean, well, that was Samantha's
you-
joke of like, oh, that pickup line is older than you.
Yeah.
yeah, or like if the partner is closer to my parents in age than to me, like, is that what I want? Sorry, 55,
Yes.
Elizabeth.
No, I asked you first.
Oh, I was
Don't dodge it.
okay. So when I am on dating apps, let's start there.
Yeah.
I set my
Good job.
minimum for 26, so I
Okay.
can go 2 years
Okay.
less. But
She's not willing to be a cougar.
and then top, I think that my top was 40.
40.
40?
Yeah.
That's just a baby. And
That
Olivia's turn.
seems so young. So young and spry.
They're still not on Medicare.
Have you? What was that? What was the oldest?
Like oldest or biggest age gap?
Oldest.
Oh wow, that's a good question.
Oh.
Balloons for that.
The biggest age gap was 20 years.
Wow, but was that like a
Were you 20?
dating or?
It was like a thing.
That was a thing.
It was more than one night, but
No label.
no, yeah, I was,
20 years.
yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
How was it?
amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you see a difference when they are older, or not?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's just a bit more calmness. Okay, I somehow managed to find the old men who are kind of like chaotic hot messes a little bit. So I feel like that brings an element of youthfulness to them.
Sure.
Where it's like they're still trying to figure it out. Yeah, so but I think that there's less, they've been around the block a time or two. So
But like, is that something for me? That would be a red flag if at that at that age, and I want to be really careful here because, I mean, 40 at the end of the day is not that old.
I mean, hey, I thought I was going to have my shit together by 26.
Yeah, exactly. So, like,
yeah.
I don't want to be talking like someone is old or young, but I feel like if you are a man and you are around your 40s and you don't have shit together,
yeah.
or like, obviously maybe there was a divorce or something like that, or like you've been in something more stable but then kind of fell apart. But if that's not the case and you're kind of messing around throughout the whole life, that's like a red flag.
Yeah.
It is for sure. It's just I guess I really like the color red. I don't know.
It's actually my favorite color.
Yeah.
I mean,
The jokes aside.
I think there's also obviously when people talk about age gap relationships, especially with like an older man and a younger woman, people talk about like the power dynamic situation, which I understand and I think it's definitely something to be cautious of. But on the flip side, I liked feeling like I had some power where I was like this young girl that they were interested in. And I was
Yeah.
like, we might have to cut this out. But I was like, I felt like I was a little treat for them.
Don't cut that out.
it's true.
And so it like, I don't know, it sort of put me on my high horse a little bit.
Yeah.
And I like that.
I think like, so I've been in relationships where I was older and then where I was younger.
Hmm.
It definitely feels better as a woman to be younger one. Or like at least I felt like when I was the one that was older, and I mean it at the end of the day is more about the person than age.
Yeah.
But like there were moments where I could feel that I was older and I didn't
Did you feel like his mom?
I mean, that's another story, but like, I like the fact that I was turning an age that will always be older than him.
Yeah.
That like I feel much better if I am. Maybe there are some kind of societal frameworks that
Yeah.
I think are right or whatever.
Well, that's
But-
part of the gender norms, right?
but
It's like the guy has to
I
be the
do
same age or older.
I do feel like, I want him to be a protector, right? Sorry, I touched my mic. And that kind of correlates with me being more feminine, more like softer and younger. And I don't know if that's just like frameworks in my mind, but
Yeah.
I get the point.
Yeah.
I do think that is just socially ingrained.
Yeah,
So-
probably.
Yeah, because like if you look at age gap relationships, it's so much more acceptable to have an older man with a younger woman than an
Middle.
older woman with a younger man. People are like asking questions at that point,
Yeah.
and they're like, "What are you doing?" And it just gets so much more pushback than
Yeah.
the
But
It's a little more taboo.
I feel like
yes.
it always will generate questions, even
Yes.
if you date like an older man and maybe he was in like another relationship and then he switches for a younger one. There will be this, how do you say it? Like on average it's the whole story, like all men in their like midlife have a crisis and then they go crazy and they go for younger.
Yeah.
And then like everyone is like, yeah, he's just having a moment, then she's young, but it's just like all the stereotypes, which yeah, often is the true, but there are also cases where it's not true.
Yeah. No, but I do like understand the fact that like it feels nice to be like chosen by someone that's older because like to me that always like gave me the validation of like I'm more mature. Like they feel they can connect with me because I'm not like a baby to them. And that kind of gave me that validation of like we can have like solid conversations based on like a different intellectual level, even though they have like a lot more experience and wisdom than I do.
Mm.
So in that case,
Never thought about it like
sorry. It was from my one experience of dating older. That's it. Because otherwise, I've always dated someone who's like the same age or just
yeah.
like a year or two older. Though I did have a guy, I was telling you this, I think, guys, like about another guy, that we were only 2 years apart. And at the time, he's like, you're a little more 20 something, and I'm a little closer to 30 something. And I was like, dude, we're 2 years apart.
Yeah,
It's not that deep.
Also, I guarantee that was not accurate.
that
It was
is
not.
just
It was not. It's something he was telling himself, I think.
yeah, delusion.
Yep.
Wrong example of delusion.
Yes.
But like I always been told when I was younger that I behave more mature than what my age is. But now I'm thinking like, is that because some kind of trauma or
So that's what I'm
something?
saying. Is that a good or a bad thing?
Yeah,
Because
like
my
I
friend and
always felt like it was a compliment, but now maybe like a few years ago, I'm like, was it actually good or was it just me like
having to grow up faster.
exactly because
yeah.
of whatever I was
Whatever,
doing?
yeah. No, my friend and I literally had the same conversation because like we both went to boarding school very young, and we had to like grow up, and then like we're thinking about it, like not to get into like psychology and everything else, but like kids having like proper childhood and getting to be immature when they're meant to be immature is like a good thing.
Yeah.
But they like people do praise kids that they're like, oh, you're really immature for your age. But if you think
It's-
about it, like
It's
later
also
on,
a thing like when you are firstborn or
Yeah.
you are an only child, there is this, I don't know what it is, but I feel like middle children or the youngest one, they don't have this mentality of like being mature and very responsible. They're more
we can ask a
goofy.
middle child, Olivia.
I
You
am
ever
a-
had the responsibility of needing to be the mature one?
I think in some cases, so I am a middle child, but my older sister is my half sister.
Yeah.
So growing up, she would be at our house 1 week and then at her mom's house 1 week. So it was sort of
Nice.
like I was a part-time middle sibling. So I think there are certain situations where I do sort of feel like I have to take on that responsibility role with my younger brother. Sometimes it's usually simple things like planning Christmas presents or like a, Mother's Day gift or
Yeah.
something. I'm the one who has to remind him like, "Hey, we have to do this. Do you have some ideas?" That kind of thing. And then there are definitely other times where I'm very much the middle sibling and I'm just sort of like, woe is me, I'm in the middle and I'm forgotten.
I think that's the best. Like being a part-time middle child is the best.
It's,
Like
like,
you kind of
interesting, yeah,
get
yeah,
the
yeah.
bits and pieces of everything.
Yeah.
I don't know, because you're an only child.
Yeah, I've been told many times that I behave like an only child.
I have
And
too though,
it's-
but I'm not.
And it's not because I'm like spoiled. It's
Yeah.
all that I need so much me time.
Yeah.
I'm like
Mhm.
separate from people because I was used to be alone, that people would tell me, yeah, like I can so much see that. And another thing, which this is like something that one of my friends told me, and yeah, it's such a true thing. I don't do well when people pick on me or they make fun of me. And I think that's
Oh,
because I didn't have siblings.
Yeah.
that's
The
interesting.
ingrained bullying is
Yeah.
kind of a good skill.
Is that
No, it like you deal with conflict better. You learn how to deal with conflict
I
from a
think
young
I'm great
age.
at conflict.
Oh, you're just pissed when you're pissed.
Yeah. It's just like I don't like when people make fun of me. I think it's
No, I mean
disrespectful.
nobody does, but like it's more about like how you react and how you respond to it.
Yeah.
Because like
I feel like part of it could be cultural too, a little bit. I think
Nah.
no, you don't think so?
No, like I think this is really much that like I was an only child and never ever someone picked on me.
Mm,
Because now they do. Some of my family relatives
Yeah.
do make fun of me because I am the oldest, but I'm the smallest.
yeah.
And I don't do well with it, which is why they continue doing it.
yeah,
Honestly.
Yeah.
they found a button to push.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. With me, like, I'm not an only child, but I've kind of had a weird thing because like my sister and I have such a big age gap,
Mm.
and she's also have my half sister, but like she's always been there. But because like we're 9 years apart, we grew up and like she was already off to like college or whatever,
And you
Mm.
left pretty early.
and I left to go to boarding school. But I've had to still have the responsibility of being the mature one because I had to take care of like myself,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and in that case, like it still exists. And now like I'm also like helping take care of like the family and stuff. So like
Yeah.
Anyway, we kind of diverged.
Sorry. Yeah,
So,
anyways.
but I think like it's a good context to understand maybe why you're seeking more mature partner.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because if you have always felt, which doesn't really apply to you though.
she was part-time responsible.
She's part-time middle child, and then she's still attracted to older people.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
I think
Older
there could be like other reasons why. Because again, for you, it's like a norm in the family of like that's what I grew up with,
True.
Yeah.
right? So I think there's other factors that could play into it. I don't think it's just because you're like more mature.
Yeah.
That's why I
Would
was-
you think that if you would meet someone that is younger, would be automatically you would reject them just because they're younger?
Like younger than myself or younger than my normal age range?
I think younger
I
than
think that was
yourself.
the same.
I think younger than
Um,
yourself, or like younger than yourself or our age.
Yeah.
Okay, our age is fine. Younger, I don't know that I would really consider it for a serious thing. I'd be down to like, I don't know, fuck around a little bit, but I don't think I would think about them. I think also guys, they're less mature than we are at, even when
Even
you're
at
at the
our
same
age.
age.
Yeah.
So
They eventually catch up. I hope.
sometimes.
Okay.
I think it's kind of unpredictable.
So I feel like if I were to date a 23, 24-year-old and my brother's 24, so like you were saying, that's weird for me to think about.
Yeah.
I feel like I would be dating the maturity of like a 21-year-old kind of thing. And I don't know that
Yeah.
I want that for dating.
No, that's
So-
fair.
Okay.
They
so
can be good for other things.
So yeah, like let's kind of go back to the general experience dating older men then.
I feel like, and maybe this is just sort of my assumption, but I think that when you're dating someone who's a little bit older, because they have theoretically had that time to sort of get their yayas out, if you want to say.
They've
I
been
feel
around
like-
the block.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like their choice to spend time with me is more intentional.
Mm.
So, because at that point, I feel like there's less things that they really, they don't have as much pressure as when you're younger to be like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, and trying to sort of check all these things off because they've either checked them or they no longer care to check them off. So it's like if they're choosing to spend time with me, it's because they actually like me rather than like just wanting company kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty valid because I've had so many guys being like, in our age, they're like, I'm not ready for a relationship because I want to
They
get
just
like
want a body.
my dream job and I want to do this and I have to get all this together before I actually want to have a family. And so in that case, it is just for
And I
companionship
feel
for a
like
while.
that kind of goes, to all these myths about love and romance. Which one of them is what is the name of it?
The taxi cab theory.
Taxi cab.
All right,
Yeah.
Olivia, explain to us what is the taxi.
Okay, taxi cab theory. I don't know if it originated from Sex and the City, but they definitely bring it up at one
They do.
point where it's the idea that you could be in like a 5-year relationship with a man and, you want to get married and you have talked about it and that's the intention, whatever, things go to shit and you guys break up and it's like Suddenly, in a man's brain, a switch flips. He turns the light on in his taxi cab, and the next woman is the one that he marries.
Yeah, because
Okay.
in this case, like you've been in a relationship for so long, but you're like, why are we not married yet?
Yeah.
He's like not ready to take that step, and then the next girl he meets, like he starts.
I thought it was more like when they feel that they are ready because they set all their life.
No, that's exactly it. Like
Oh,
even
so
though you were the person that
Oh,
they were
okay.
with
Yeah.
while they were setting up their life, and then they're like, I don't know, I'm not ready for marriage, and then like I don't know, 2, 3 months down the line, like they're engaged
Yeah.
to the girl that he met like a week ago.
So it's sort of implied that the person that they end up with isn't necessarily the right person for them. It was like the person at the right time for them.
yeah, when they were ready.
Yeah,
Exactly.
even though you were there putting in the work.
Yeah. So yeah, what do you think about it?
I fully we need a man's opinion, but where's Oscar?
I have one opinion from our opposite gender, and he said it was true.
Which is crazy.
Screw this.
I like he was.
What are we putting in that
He was
for?
like, yeah, I can see that.
Do you feel like it's partially that I think women, to an extent, are conditioned from a young age to be looking for a partner to settle down with? And I feel like men, when they're younger, they're not as concerned with that. And
Mhm.
so maybe it gets to a point where they've done enough of the other things that they wanted to do, and they're like, oh, the next thing is to get married, so I guess I'm going to do that now.
Back to the pressure of our biological pressure.
That's true.
That's why we're conditioned to do it because you're like, you have to set up your life. You have to be a good, smart girl to meet a nice boy who's ready to settle down.
So you can pop those babies out.
So you pop those babies out because you only have a timeline. Whereas guys, even if they're 55, they can have all the babies in the world. Even
Fertile
if they're
myrtles.
75.
I mean,
Go,
I think
Samantha.
it's a combination of biological and societal.
Yes.
Yeah. They're related. 100%.
Factors, because yeah, it's true, we have to think about this so much more in terms of when do we want to start family, and
So this was like talking to our conversation. You were going to post it, but like the biological disadvantage conversation we were having is like literally that.
and you know, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and there are like a lot of famous women now going to, you know, like the biggest podcast, and they all at some point would address this whole thing about, yeah, like because you know, they were usually successful, they would start having family and kids later, and they were like, I don't know how hard this will be.
Yeah.
Like there are so many miscarriages also that happen to you,
Mhm.
and they're like, yeah, you need to think about this much more, and it's not talked about enough.
Yeah.
How well there is a time, and like you can't really push it that much,
Yeah.
you know. And I think we're already in a quite good space where we can have children at 40, which is crazy to
It's
me.
impressive.
So like
Yeah.
it moved, but still, it's not like when you decide you're gonna have a child and you actually will end up like,
No, but I think
sometimes you might have problems, or
Yeah.
you might miscarriage and you need to go through all of it
that's one
again.
of the things. Yeah.
And then there's like another thing, I think for men, there's just so much more pressure to make it.
Well, again, because their
So-
primary job for us, our primary
a-
biological stereotypical job is
Yeah.
like find a nice guy, have babies. Their job is like get a good job so you can build a castle and protect
Yeah,
those
but
babies.
imagine like, I think we kind of talk about it a lot, but
Yeah.
like the average level of, you know, who a woman is today is so much higher than what it was like 20, 30 years
Yeah.
ago. So they have to also go much higher if
That was
they
our
want
first
to
episode.
yeah, if they want to be like attractive to women. So I kind of get it. Like there is so much pressure also for them to make this.
But is that why guys go for younger women? Because
I mean, they can just choose, I think.
they can choose, but I think because of that, so like the women who are more successful, let's say, are like in their 30s, but like as
Mhm.
a dude in your 30s and 40s, you go for a 20-something-year-old because she's not that far in her career and like it's not that big of a challenge.
I mean, I remember
Is
one
that
of your
dating approach?
stories
That's
where
probably a good point.
when you went for some date, and,
Yeah.
and the guy was in his 30s, and he was like, yeah, I'm not really interested in going for women in their 30s
Yeah.
because they just are.
He said they're more cynical.
Yeah, but
I
probably
wonder why.
there's like probably more burden they're carrying, but also they're like, like, I don't have time. I
Yeah.
want this is. Whereas girls in their 20s, I think they are more like open to just have life.
Yeah.
And it doesn't put so much pressure. I mean, there might be power dynamic as well as a factor.
Yeah. So I do think like all these factors do like alter guys' dating approaches. But I think it all comes back to when a guy says he's not ready to commit or like be in a relationship or get married, believe it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
In that case, don't be delusional.
I think
Yeah, don't buy into the myth.
if even it's like switched, you know, even if a woman says like, I don't think I want to get.
That's what Carrie is doing if you think about it. Because the reason that why they broke up is because he said she's not the love of his life.
Yeah, but she did it because she got hurt, not because she didn't see them ending up together in the long term.
Yeah, but it's kind of as now she's dating him. Well, that's still being a factor, but now she's okay with it.
She's telling herself she's okay with
Yeah.
it.
She is telling herself that he has changed.
Which he hasn't. What
Which-
would have changed him? What happened to have changed him?
I mean, sometimes I think the separation might help to realize.
That's the myth that they were talking about. Charlotte was like, oh, like the woman who like, oh no, Samantha was like, there's a myth of like the woman who like broke up with the guy, moved away to whatever place, and the guy showed up with a ring.
I don't
Mhm.
believe it's true though. I think sometimes
We got a
separation.
believer.
I think sometimes separation will clarify some things for you.
Or they'll just move on to someone else and marry them.
I feel like the hard part, and this is sort of what Charlotte says, is that there is that like 1 in a million happening where that does happen. And then those bitches give us hope. How dare they? Because then it's like she was saying, like, oh, but this happened to a friend of my friend. It does happen. It can happen. And then it's like you want to like hold on to that little shred of like some magical romantic hope, like for dear life.
Yeah, it's like us when we were talking about Raya yesterday, and I was like, I want to try Raya, and you're like, why? And I was like, because my friend literally just got married.
Yeah. I mean, me being, coming from delusional spot, I do believe that these things can happen.
Sure, we do choose delusion. I
And
get it,
I
but we have
know-
to actively
I
choose
know the
delusion because it is
cases.
delusion.
I literally know even the cases where like they would separate for years. The guy would move to different continent,
Yeah.
would have another relationship, marry that person, and then he would return to the country, and they would actually end up together and have a family together.
All right,
Crossing countries.
And then I
I would do it.
also
I'd
know
cross
about
country.
like leaving his wife for someone else.
Yeah,
So I think it happens. It's just like
it happens. Sure.
read the room, stay delusional to the point. Maybe
But
like
I don't
give
think you should
give
hold
your-
out hope for it.
no, I mean,
No.
like give yourself, I think, some kind of limit, right? Like you at some point like this is just bullshit. Like that goes nowhere. But sometimes this push and pull, I think it works. Like not do it consciously, but I think sometimes you realize the value, or people unfortunately realize the value only when they lose something.
What was the saying? Like, you love something when it's gone, or you appreciate something when it's gone?
Yeah.
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 So I think it's not like black and white. Obviously,
See, that's how I broke up with my. I don't know if it was my
Oh,
kindergarten
if you love
boyfriend.
something, let it go.
Oh my god.
it's. I mean, I think that's true too, because like you can't make someone or something to be there.
Someone, yeah, you can't make someone like appreciate you and value and like regret.
I think
doing
like
you
the
wrong,
best
and just
example
let
of
them
this
do
is
it.
when you have kids and they have to leave the house at some point to have their own life and experiences. And I think for mothers especially, it's so hard.
Oh no, it's just like the same thing of like kids learning how to fall and stuff and how to
Yeah.
walk. Like,
Yeah.
or again, I learned this on myself. Don't touch the iron; it's hot. You don't learn that until you touch it.
Yeah, but like
Yeah, I
you know,
guess
like
could.
from, like,
there's just me who's like,
perspective
oh,
of parents, it's like I don't want to ever you to leave unless
yeah,
like
yeah.
I am assuming you have a great healthy relationship with the parents. So anyway,
What other myths do we have?
yeah. Well, there is the whole big topic of dating a bartender.
Think there is something so hot about a bartender. First
What
of all,
is it exactly?
Yeah, tell me, because I never was attracted to bartenders.
okay, I think if you're a good bartender, part of it obviously is making a good drink, but then a big part of it is having the charisma and like the ability to speak
talker.
to people. You're a charmer. Like that's 50, probably more than 50% about being a good bartender is like you
You're a
bring
therapist.
people. Yes, you're a therapist. I mean, there have been so many times where like I go to a bar just because I want to talk to my favorite bartender kind of thing.
Your friend
My friend.
that you tip.
Yes. Maybe he tips me too. You never know.
Anyway,
But so I think it's the charisma, and I think they're very good there's like the good ones make you feel special, and they like because and it sort of crosses that like patron customer line where it's like, oh, I'm so happy you're back, and maybe it is just because like they know that they're getting paid and by you being there, but part of you feels like, oh, they're happy to see me because like I'm fun to be around, kind of
Interesting.
thing.
So, in my understanding,
Yeah.
the reason why I couldn't do it, one, I'm very possessive. We've learned this. But it's the same thing. What is the difference between dating a bartender and dating a stripper? We're talking about Magic Mike.
Oh, that's a
There's
hot
really not a
take.
difference because their job is to flirt.
There's a difference because they are
Uh,
like they take your hand and put it on their body and then drag it all the way down. Like
Yeah,
a
they do the
bartender
same
isn't
thing to
doing
my
that.
emotions. They're doing the same thing to my ego.
I
They're
mean,
stroking it.
one takes their clothes off, the other one gives you a drink. So big
Yeah.
No, but there's like two. Okay, if you think about this, as like you're dating someone, there's two forms of cheating, right? There's emotional cheating, there's physical
Mhm.
cheating. So
True, true.
So like that, like that's the reason I couldn't date a bartender is because I'm like your job is to flirt.
Yeah, there's also something about watching them make a drink.
but
There's also something
que-
about watching a man
my
dance.
question is
True.
like, is there something for you more for fun, or can you actually imagine being with someone who is a bartender as a partner for life?
Yeah, this is Miranda's question too.
I think I could, but I think I would be more inclined to do it with someone who they love bartending, they love what they're doing, but they want to turn it in, like they want to grow it into something.
Yeah.
So whether
Open up
that's
their own bar.
opening their own bar or something, just having some kind of,
So match your ambition.
yeah. And I feel sort of hypocritical saying that because like I used to bartend, so it's like, there's nothing
find
wrong
other
with
passions.
bartending.
Yeah.
But you maybe always want to know the context behind why they're bartending. Like, is this a momentary situation because I'm working on something, or I'm in
Well, I don't think the bartending profession is a problem.
No.
You genuinely could enjoy bartending. You could be paid great because you're working at like I don't know, a 5-star hotel.
Yeah, you can
bartending.
make really good, like six
Yeah.
figures.
I don't think it's the issue is the job
maybe in the
itself.
US.
Sure,
Maybe.
but I don't think the job is itself. I think it's just for me, it's the profession of your job is to flirt. That would be the issue for long term.
I don't think I would have a problem with that. I would have a problem more with the fact that we don't match in terms of maybe generally life ambition and like opening
Again, they could be making
opening
six
your own
figures.
bar. I get it, but then that's what I mean by context. Like, why are you doing this, or do you always want to stay here because this is where you feel comfortable, which is
Yeah.
fine. But I know I would long term develop some kind of resentment because I want to grow and I want someone who grows with me.
But again, we're talking about the profession. Let's go back to the myth itself because the myth here is like Miranda.
Sexy bartender.
It's like, but Miranda's point is like she's not taking Steve seriously because she's like, you're first of all is trying to be making fun of me. You're pushing my buttons. You're trying to flirt, but you're flirting because it's your job and it's not because you genuinely like me.
That's
You
true.
sleep with me because it's the cliche of a bartender hooking up with you. And the fact that he keeps
Yeah.
on chasing her and he's like, I genuinely like you. She's like, I genuinely don't believe you because men are trash right now.
Yeah. I think it's also, I mean, there's like the allure of the hot bartender, but at the same time, when I go into a bar and I see a hot bartender, I'm like, I know this man is getting it thrown at him every single night from all directions. Like, I
Yeah.
know this for a fact.
Yeah.
The one thing that keeps me holding on is that, so the guy I used to see is a bartender, of course. And yeah, of course, he would be like flirty with other people, but I could see in the way that he interacted with me that it was different. And so
Felt special.
I guess I'm a sucker for feeling special. That's what we're learning from
I mean,
this.
Isn't any of her?
I would
Yeah.
be so sarcastic and like ironic about any of this interaction. Like, if the bartender is being nice to me, I would be probably Miranda. But the thing is that I'm thinking about, isn't this every man? Like, I react.
Not every man's job is to flirt.
No, but like I react to these type of interactions generally the same from men. Like, it's not only bartenders. There were
So you're
multiple
genuinely
situations.
cynical about when a man comes up to you and is trying to chat you up. You're like, you're fake.
Yeah,
Well, I
Really?
assume initially that they
Yeah.
just want to fuck me.
exactly. Like, there is something that you want from me.
Yeah.
And it's mostly probably something physical. And I'm not looking for one night. Like, if I'm looking for one, I say yes.
I'm
but-
okay.
Yeah.
This is maybe because I've been like called a tease because of this, because I do this. Because even if they hit me up, they think I'm sleeping with them. I'm not gonna sleep with them. I would keep on chatting and flirting as if we are, but then I'm like, we're not
But
actually
then,
doing
like,
this.
I mean, remember the net?
Yes.
I would chat with people if I enjoy the conversation, and I think it can be understood as flirting.
That's their fault for thinking you're gonna sleep with them.
But there's a difference between if a guy is not like talking to you and it's actually interesting conversation, and if they're doing these cheesy techniques.
Oh, for sure. If it's like
Mhm.
And
super like out
then-
of the playbook,
And if
you
they
can
tell me
tell.
like,
Yeah.
you're so beautiful or like stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, okay.
Oh, there was a guy last night when I was at the bar, and he was like, I was at the bar by myself because everyone else was dancing, and he was like, "Oh, no, I can do that." And he was like, "Oh, there's no way you're here alone." I was like, "Yeah, my friends are over there." And he's like, "So where's your boyfriend?" And I was like, "Oh, get away from me."
Yeah, no, I hate this. And then I turn into a bitch. Like, seriously, I hate these cheap dogs.
So basically, our point here is that guys need to be more creative and less out of the cheesy playbook.
I mean,
Yeah.
bartenders have to do it because it's part of their jobs.
Bartenders don't have to flirt with you.
No,
They can. They can be really nice. They can be really pleasant. If you're having a bad day, in Miranda's case, be like, "Oh, sounds like you had a bad conversation
Yeah,
with
but
your
like
friend. Are
if
you
you are
okay?"
in that place, even if someone is nice to you, you will probably understand it as, oh, they're interested in me. Like I am pretty. Have you?
I rarely think of bartenders flirting with me.
Yeah, I don't think ever a bartender flirted with me.
What was I gonna say?
Bartenders.
Bartender just whispered in her ear.
I think there's different kinds of flirty bartenders. So I think like the kind that Steve is, where he's kind of like pushing Miranda's buttons a little bit. I've met that kind of bartender. And then it's like when they do start to take more of an interest in you, it's like, oh, he doesn't hate me because it's sort of the persona of like being a bitch to everyone, but
To
then
kind of break you so like they can get to the soft.
Yeah.
If I'm making fun of you and I'm grilling you and I'm roasting you, I'm trying to flirt.
Girl.
I never thought I would like it until I did.
Because I know one example where you literally trashed the guy.
Oopsies.
Is that? Did you flirt with him?
She probably was.
Okay, no naming.
If it's sometimes too easy, why not fall into it?
Yeah.
Because I do like sometimes I do careless flirt. I'm not actually intentionally trying to like hit on you. I'll flirt for fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun to.
We love a good flirt.
I love a good flirt.
It's true.
Like, I think the
Conclusion.
best part of the whole thing is just like the sexual tension.
Yeah.
It's sometimes better than sex.
That's true. Sometimes whatever you build in your mind, like
Mhm.
this kind of
Fairy tale.
not fairy tale, but like the tension and like
Yeah.
Yeah.
how good it can be is much better than the reality.
Yeah.
You know, like when you are thinking about what you can't have and how good it can be, and then once you can have it, and you're like,
I've had the opposite.
Don't even get me started.
I like had the opposite. I like met someone. I was like, oh, there's tension there, and then it was better than the tension.
that's good. Good for you.
Yeah, that's great.
Honestly.
Yeah, but then the person was not great. So the problem
Oh,
was like
well,
The what was not great?
the person.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's like another. I don't think it's a myth. It's a problem when you meet someone where the sex is great, but everything
They're just
else
wrong for
is
you.
just-
Mm.
Yeah. No.
It's like the chemistry is there, the sex is great, you feel so comfortable, you feel so secure, and then like they're trash as a person. Yeah.
So I wrote down this quote from Dostoevsky.
Bringing out the classics here. Dostoevsky, really? She spelled out the reference.
Because I like the quote.
What was his myth?
a Russian for our Russian.
Aw.
Yeah, I did it for you,
Okay.
so you feel at home. The price of loving someone very much is never loving again anyone
Oh.
else.
Was that a myth?
It's not a myth, but
I think that's how love works.
is it though? Like,
It's
does
you,
it
you
mean
understand what love is and the value of love when you fall in love with someone, and then you're like, I could never feel this way for anyone ever again. Says me
So-
falling
so
in
you
love
think
on a
that?
daily basis. But
Yeah, because like, can you actually?
I have different kinds of love though.
I mean, that's yeah. I think that exists. Like, there are different types
Yeah.
of love you can have for.
I don't know if that's a myth. I think that's fact.
I think.
Okay.
Wait, can you read it again?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. I should have remembered this point. The price of loving someone very much is never loving anyone again.
I think for me, the way I initially interpreted it was you're sort of always having that one person that you're always a little bit hung up on and not being able to like fully give yourself to someone else because even if whatever the relationship wasn't perfect, the person wasn't perfect, there's something about them that just sort of like just like stuck to you. It's like stuck to your heart a little bit, and you can
Yeah.
never like fully love someone else because they always will have like that little bit.
You'll be hanging on to that.
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple of those.
I did too.
There is apparently just one that you should have.
What do you mean?
Like,
I
literally,
don't
the
believe
quote
that.
is
I don't
saying-
like to limit myself like this. Let my delusion love.
Okay. No, wait. Let me check this.
She wanted to pull up a couple more.
There's also one which is the secretary theory.
Ooh,
What is a
sexy secretary?
I feel like that's a male version though.
Opposites attract. Love at the first sight. Easy love.
Oh, I think love conquers all is a good one.
I also like the easy love. Okay, so we can choose.
Love conquers all is kind of a toxic one though.
No, exactly. I think it's like a harmful myth to hold on to.
So, what is exactly what do you understand by
The
that?
way I interpret it is like, no matter how shitty the situation is, no matter how much you fight and like everything else, the fact that you're in love should
Override
power
everything.
everything.
Yeah, like
it's
you can
okay if
like
they're
love is
horrible.
enough, kind of.
yes.
They'll be horrible to you, and they're like, "But I love you,"
Yeah.
and that's where like the gaslighting kind of comes in,
Yeah.
and it's a little bit toxic.
Because I think a lot of times it's not that they love you; they just love their version or like whatever they are getting.
It
Yeah.
could be anything. It could be like they love the life you built together. They love the work that you do, the person that you are, but like something else is so horrible that it's like
No, I agree.
Yeah.
That's you should not. Well, it's kind of connected to the other one, which is like if it's right, it should be easy.
yeah.
Mm,
I don't think that's true.
I don't know. I think
Like
there's
it should
degrees
not
of
be
it.
definitely difficult.
yeah.
I think that's the range actually. If it's right, then it should be easy to love conquers all. Like there should be an in between.
Yes. Yeah. I think like a little bit of work is fine because I think it's unrealistic to expect that you're going to find someone who is going to check every box, who's going to fit
There's
everything that
compromise,
you're,
right?
yeah,
You always have to make
exactly.
trade-offs.
But also, like, it's a plant you need to water. Like, you can't just
Yes.
expect that you will meet someone and that's good and you don't have to work on it anymore.
Yeah.
Because, like, it is relationships are work. Like,
Yeah.
any type of relationship, you need to work on it, right? You need to invest into it.
Yeah.
You need to proactively build stuff or
Mhm.
plan things. So, and I think especially when, like, there is a moment where it's the drop, right? Like you don't just feel maybe so romantic about each other if you're in long-term relationship.
Yeah.
You still need to continue putting the work in. If the relationship is worth.
Investing in. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So anyway,
Any other myths your friends
the-
have told you about? Like, of like,
the I told you the one. The secretary.
Wait, go more into that because is it
So,
like,
I don't know. I'm just from my memory, which my memory is not great. I remember high level concepts, but not details. But it's about basically like you will go through partners. Like it's like every next like when you hire a new secretary, and you will get the one that is like good,
mhm.
but you don't know that is the best thing that you could get. So you will go
Oh.
further and you realize that the next one is not as good. So then the next best is the one you stop.
Oh, I've never heard it referred to as like the
Or that's how you should
secretary.
do it. I don't know if I've never heard of it to call the secretary either.
I don't know if it's something you should. And apologies if I kind of mix this. Like it's something
that's
like
how
that. Like
people
you
are
go
approached.
until like you probably meet the best, but you don't know if it's the best or not. And like most of the people would go further, and then they realize, oh, this was the best. So like whatever they can match to the best is where they will kind of stop.
Well, I feel like that's especially perpetuated nowadays with dating apps.
Oh yeah.
I think that's one of our guy friends actually told me that, but it was an application of something else. It's something like,
Secretary?
no, it's about like buying something or like evaluating an apartment or something along those lines
Oh,
of
wow.
like you should look around enough to find like I think it was apartments. Look around enough that you found like a great one, but you're like not obsessed with it, and then look a couple more, and then the next one that you find after that is one you should settle on.
Mm. Yeah,
So
I
I think
think
it's just like purchasing
I
theory in
don't
general,
know
but I think it applies
If
to
I
dating.
agree with the purchasing there. If I find something I'm obsessed with, or like this is what I love, I go for it.
mm,
Because then I would
But
decisive.
okay, maybe it's not purchase, but I think like apartments kind of make sense.
I feel like there's sort of a spectrum of being like constantly shopping around, constantly looking for the best thing, and on the other side, settling.
And
And there's
making
sort of
that
a
the best, maybe.
yeah, I think there's because you don't want to encourage that whole shopping around because I do think it gets very detrimental at some point and for everyone involved.
Yeah.
But then also you don't want to sort of go to the other side and being like, well, this one's pretty good. I'll just sit here, and settle for it.
I think you know deep down whether you are settling or not.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm speaking from my experience. There were moments where I felt that if I stay here, I would settle down for something, and it's not necessarily the right thing for me.
Yeah.
It's just comfortable, and I would not like it long term. And it's not even relationships. It's
Yeah.
even like work, where you live.
Yeah.
Places, cities, apartments. Like I can't live in a world where I feel like I could have done better than
Yeah.
this.
I mean, in that case, you just have to think to your future self, right? It's like if you were 10 years down the line and reflecting, being like, this is what I'm going to have as my core memory and reflect on that, like, are you going to be happy with that?
I mean,
Or are you going to
we are going in a really deep psychological topic now, but I think, you feel when you are like, yeah, this is it. Like I am right now in the right time, right spot for me.
Yeah.
For example, I feel about London this
Yeah.
way. I'm like, no, this is where I'm happy, and I fought like strongly to be back.
Yeah, you work really hard.
But like, I don't feel I want to go anywhere else at
Yeah.
the moment. Like this is where I am. So it's not like I need more and more. I mean,
No, but before that, it was like, it was challenging to get to London, right? It was challenging to do this work, but like you overcame that challenge and now you're like satisfied.
yeah, and I feel like that's what you mean. Like internally, you always know what is the right thing for you, but sometimes maybe you don't want to put the work in, or you are like, yeah, maybe I will stay because it's comfortable and I don't want to go through the change and
Yeah.
challenge. But yeah, I don't think that would work long term, at least not for me. Then there are people who, maybe different priorities.
Yeah.
Have either of you been in a situation where you're with someone and you sort of fear that if you like fully tie it down that you'd be settling, so then you leave and realize, shit, I should have given it a shot.
I know that one. Especially that they start dating someone else and you're like,
No,
oh. What do you mean?
no, I didn't. If I decided to leave,
Oh, okay.
Mm.
If you decided to leave.
because I definitely thought about it for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think it's unfair to the other person if I feel I'm settling down for them, but they feel they are not.
Yeah.
Because then there will be this always, again, not the resentment, but I will not be my best. And if that's, how I feel, I think it's very disrespectful and unfair for me to not give them the freedom to find someone else where they would not feel what I feel and they would feel this is the best person for me.
Yeah.
So if I let someone go, I understand that, yeah, they will find someone else.
You're a stronger person than I am.
But
What is your perspective?
but if it's the other way around, that's the problem. Where I'm like, this person is great for me, but then they let me go.
But what if you realize their value after you've gone? Like you realize they're more valuable than you originally evaluated.
And they would come back?
No, and they're gone dating someone else now.
And what would be the realization?
So like when you were dating them or seeing them, you thought you were settling because you didn't see their full value. But now that
I always saw their full value.
okay, so you're saying that your estimation or your calculation is always right.
Susanna's like, I would never be that stupid.
No, I mean, like, did I do some like messy things? Yes, but if I was like, yeah, we are breaking up, or like I'm leaving, I never felt like.
So you're like, when you're finished, you're finished.
Yeah, I mean, it hurts.
Yeah.
You feel like you are missing the person. And
No,
the
but I'm saying
intimacy.
like in the
But yeah.
case like you thought it was not the right fit because you were settling.
No, it never happened.
She's too perfect.
Must be nice.
Olivia, please share our mortal stories.
Oh God. I mean, that's sort of the situation I'm in right now a little bit. So
Ooh, that's a hard one.
yeah, because it was fully my own doing of like cutting it off and everything. And
But we're just mortals, like miscalculations happen.
yeah,
Right? You misunderstand people, you misevaluate them.
And I think sometimes, really, you need to like experience something in order to understand this is not right. Like maybe you think, oh,
or
this
you
is
need
the
to
right-
experience it to understand it was right.
Oh yeah, but
Because
like,
we're talking about the myth of like, oh, you broke up sorry, the guy broke up with you and then he realized actually you were right. We're having the polar opposite flip of that. Like
Yeah.
you break up with someone, then you realize they were right for you.
Or could be.
Or
And
could be.
like I never gave it a full shot. He was like wanting to like lock it down and I was always sort of keeping a little bit of distance. And now that I've terminated it, I realized like I should have just given it a go.
That's where it
But-
becomes hard, is what I'm
But
saying.
Yeah.
then is that because of you realize it, or maybe because he stopped pursuing you?
That's
my
a good question. It's a
Because I definitely experienced the second one where
Yeah.
I feel like how
Yeah.
I want that person because they stopped chasing me. So the pull push kind of dynamic changes.
I think realistically it's a combination of the
Mm.
two, if I'm being fully honest. Like there is still a part of me where I was like, why was I holding back from just trying? Like, why not? What am I gonna lose? Some time, maybe, but it's
So
not
what's-
like
so what do you want to do?
I mean, I sort of tried to put it out there to like get things going again and
But it's
he-
hard if they're seeing someone else. Like if there's like a third party involved.
Yeah, I mean then like it depends on
well, that was
how.
before that was like solid.
Fair.
So
Then it's I think more about your values. Like, are you gonna interact with them even though you know they're seeing someone else, or you're gonna be like, yeah, I
you
don't
can
want.
still stay friends and interact with them.
I mean,
What do you mean? You hey, you've been friends with exes before.
I've been friends with exes,
Yeah.
yes, but it's more like I've heard so many opinions, especially from men, where they were like, no, that doesn't work. It's mostly that girls would think it's a friendship because they keep them in a friend zone, but in reality, there are no friendships between different
There
genders,
are
sexes.
there are
right?
two sets of believers. Some believers are like there could be a platonic friendship between a man and a woman. I believe that.
Sorry, I was just thinking of
In some
Justin
cases.
Bieber.
But in the other group of believers, they're like, no, biologically it's impossible. You're always going to consider sleeping with them.
Yeah.
I think it's possible where, like, and I'm thinking of someone in our friend group, like, a guy is a friend and I don't see him in a sexual way. Or I might have, like, once considered it, but then I was like, no, never.
But did you actually dated him?
No.
Because I think that's different.
Oh, okay. So she's saying there's history there.
maybe I'm just a perv, but every single man I meet, I think, would I sleep with him? Yes or no?
I think that's pretty
Right.
normal.
Yeah.
That's pretty normal.
No, I don't think about it. Like, I don't think about
Are
sexual.
you a candidate? Yes or no? That's
pretty
fine.
much.
I think more like
It's like how they say that guys, when they meet you, immediately they put you in a box of if they would sleep with you or not.
Unless they're like my friend's boyfriends, because that's always a no.
Yeah,
yeah,
obviously.
of course. But then for me, it's more like, are you worth of my time in general? Like, are you a potential partner? But I don't think about like physical
Mm.
until very long into us getting to each other.
You
getting
don't
to each other.
admire male beauty?
Oh, I do. I am just like, you are beautiful.
Why would you go to Magic Mike if she didn't admire male
Like,
beauty?
Your body looks great, but does that make me feel like I want to sleep with them? No.
Mm.
So you didn't want to hook up with any of the Magic Mike men?
I
Magic
mean,
Mikes. Sorry.
I think I'm so weird, but like I feel that's pure delusion, and I would rather be realistic about it. I'm like, yeah, there is.
Oh, I was living in that
The
delusion.
girl who was
I
like
know.
stay delusional is like, oh, pure delusion.
I live my delusions according to me that makes sense, and like me hitting on the Magic Mike guy, that's like too unrealistic for me.
No, in the moment where our favorite one came up and kissed my hand, you couldn't have told me shit that this man wasn't in love with me. That was
Yeah.
how it felt.
The moment that same
They
man
are-
handed me that
They
rose, I was
are
like,
good, they
Done,
are good.
done.
They're good at their job.
Oh, they're so good
so are
at it.
bartenders.
And I did look them up afterwards. Like, yeah, this one looks great. But you
Yeah.
know, like,
and so
rea-
does his girlfriend.
realistically, he doesn't know anything about me. So
That's
I'm,
okay. That's how love
and
at
I'm
first
not
sight
gonna
works,
chase.
too.
I'm not gonna chase.
No.
I attract, you know.
No.
As
Oh.
Jenner
See,
said.
I'm a serial chaser, and it's one of my biggest
Really?
issues. It's really
So
bad.
do you actually? Would you like if a guy's chasing you, or you need to be the one to chase?
I do like it. I don't have the patience to wait for them to chase me. If I see something and I want it,
That's actually super impressive about her. Like I've been out with her, and she will go and chat to a guy, whereas I'm like, sit still, like pretty. Hope they come by.
No, I mean like, if I want to chat to a guy, I will chat to a guy. But I don't look at it as this is the guy I'm attracted to. I'm like, I'm just gonna chat to someone, and I usually wait for
I don't
someone
have
to
that
come.
power. Well, she will wait
Mm.
for someone to go. She doesn't have the patience, and she will actually start a conversation and get their number.
We should go together because last time I went out with her, literally, we sit down and she's like, well, I don't know, is someone will come?
No, because last time I was like, literally, we're sitting in the farthest corner from anywhere else. No one's gonna come here and talk to us. Why are we here? 2 seconds later, someone comes, and I was like, Susanna, it's because you're here.
It's not true, but it happened, you know. So
we are going
you
out
just need
tonight.
to rate
Today,
it right energy, being like,
she's coming to our friends thing.
no way.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
We'll report back.
Anyways.
Closing out. So our question: are we willing or not willing to believe anything to date?
My take is that in these times, in these dire times,
yeah,
you like in order to you have to an extent, I think, because if what else am I going to hold on to if I have a slew of shitty dates, mediocre men, awful pickup lines? Like, what else am I going to hold on to that's going to keep me like trudging through the sludge to find something good?
You have to be a fighter.
Yeah.
Delusional fighter. Like
Yeah.
delusional fighter.
You go until you find what you want, you know?
Yeah.
So
I think like to an extent you need to, but it's a line that you have to sort of not tumble off into the abyss of like romance and fantastical myths.
yeah, and I mean I'm gonna be what's the word? Cliche. Very cliche. But it is true and I find it difficult myself. You need to love yourself first. Because even that,
That's
like,
what I meant by saying it's Silver Girl Summer, though.
Lover girling yourself.
Yeah.
yeah, but like I think it's easier to say it than done.
No, it definitely takes work, but that's why I was like, I was telling
Yeah.
this to you yesterday. I was like, it used to be like Hot Girl Summer, then Brat Summer,
And
and
now
now
it's
I
like
think it's
separate.
Lover Girl Summer. But the way I see it is like, love yourself, love your
Yeah.
life, love everyone around
Exactly.
you, and then like everything else will
Like,
like fall into
It
place.
should not be like I need to find someone, because then I think you're starting to be a little bit paranoid.
You're chasing.
Yeah. It's more like
You're Oliviaing.
No, but like the whole like idea of like anything you chase will run.
it's a strategy.
Oh.
That's
Wait.
That's true.
I've never thought about it like that.
That's
And it's so true. They really do run. They sprint.
so our podcast actually helps you to realize, big things about your life.
Yeah, this is a big breakthrough. Therapy of 10 years didn't even get me here.
And it's even for free.
Yeah.
Give us a call.
Have you heard of Why Men Love Bitches, the book?
Yes, and I really want to read it.
I have it. I hope I'll give it to you.
Oh, perfect.
I don't think it's the right narrative, though. We should go.
No, I think it should be read with like a glimpse of something, but that's where that line came from. Anything you chase will run.
I mean, it's true.
Wow.
Like,
It's
if
true.
someone is chasing me too hard, I will run.
If you walk out of the street and someone starts chasing you, you'll run.
Yeah.
That's different.
No, but that's
That's
the same thing.
self-preservation.
It's
I think
always
with dating, it's also
self-preservation.
self-preservation.
Yeah.
Probably.
Anyway, so yeah, going back to you should love yourself, and not do this because that's the main goal. The main goal should be like I am happy with my life and how I set it up, and I think because of that you would naturally attract what you need rather than feeling like coming from the mindset of fear.
Mm-hmm.
I need to find someone, otherwise I'm not full. And I know it's fucking hard. Like, I sometimes thought I am there and I wasn't, and I'm not even sure I am right now. But I do think, like, for you to find the comfortable and healthy relationship, you need to be in that mindset.
Yeah.
I think that's probably true.
And it doesn't kind of correlate with the ending of the episode because I don't think Carrie is in a healthy mindset, and it still is a happy ending.
For now.
Miranda gave us yet another myth, right? It's like the bartender myth that like she was making come in reality.
I mean, it's one night turns into a relationship.
Yeah, it's that myth where it's like, oh, wow, he doesn't actually just want me for my body. He wants something more.
And that's what she thought, right? She's like,
Yeah, self-preservation.
She's like, let's think of it as what it is. You don't need my number. Don't act like you're going to text me again. This was a one-night thing.
I think it's because she was pulling. That's why. Like, that's what made her interesting.
I think she was pushing.
No, she was like,
Oh, sorry.
he was pushing
She
because
was pulling
she was
back.
pulling.
Okay, sorry. I thought you were pulling into
Sorry, yeah, no, I think like if she would be like all over him, it would never be so attractive. Anyway, let's close this.
What was the answer?
Yeah, I will say.
Wait, but you guys didn't give your answers.
Yes, we did.
You did.
So you're willing to believe anything to date?
I think that it makes sense, and you should be to some point delusional, but start from the mindset of abundance and not fear, because, and that's what I mean by self.
Yeah.
If you are going with the fear mindset, I don't think it makes sense, because then it's not healthy.
Okay.
You didn't give us your answer.
Yeah.
We answered.
I don't know, I'm willing to believe anything to date. I'm a very big believer. But again, when a guy from a one night stand comes up to me and asks me like he's been missing me,
Okay, that's
But you're
different.
I'm not willing to
You're
believe
also
that.
so contradictory.
I
Like
know.
you are the biggest romantic and kind of like mix up stories in your mind, and then you say this.
It's like romance on your terms and your terms only.
Obviously.
Why would it be anything else?
Heart, that's a heart.
I've got set rules.
You should write like an Excel sheet for whoever is dating you.
It's the most Elizabeth thing I've
Well,
ever heard.
my old manager had a user guide for working with him. I should have a
That's
user guide for
lovely.
dating.
I love
me.
that idea, by the way, for work. Not
That's
for,
wild.
yeah, I
I
love.
kind of want that for dating though.
No,
Like,
that would be
do's and don'ts with
fantastic
me.
for dating. As someone who sucks at social cues, I would really benefit from that.
Yeah, then
You
go
should
through
just
the
find
checklist.
someone who's direct.
Well, I am that person. That's the problem.
Yeah,
Because I don't like the whole beating around the bush thing. I'm like
the
deep
same.
into my
I
bush.
think Elizabeth is attracted to certain type of people.
Mm.
I'm reading.
Like
the-
what?
Like direct people.
I like direct people. I'm not gonna be direct with them. I like when they directly like
Mhm.
me.
So anyway, I'm gonna answer the question.
Fine.
So you say unless it's not on my terms, it's a no.
I mean, we can negotiate.
So
She's open to
she's
compromise.
big business, all business when it comes to relationships.
Are we surprised?
No, honestly, like the things she told me about her Calendly links,
My Excel sheets.
Excel sheet, I am not.
I take dating seriously, okay? It's
I
not
don't
a
think it's
joke.
serious. I think
My
it's,
feelings, my heart, very precious.
you're translating it into how you approach work.
Which I also care about.
Yeah, okay, anyway. Answer from Carrie. From that night on, promiscuous woman everywhere would tell a story of a one night stay that turned into a relationship. And for me and Mr. Big, that was the night we stopped being a myth and started becoming real.
Oh, Carrie, what are we gonna do with you?
I agree and disagree.
I saw your eye rolls, both of you, like,
My eyes about to roll out of my head at
I
this
think it's
point.
because it's the thing with Mr. Big. I think okay, funny thing, me watching the series the first time around, I kind of was like, oh my god, yeah,
how old were you?
20.
Okay.
So I was like, oh my god, the myths and like everything else, like I believe everything. I'm so gullible. This time around, I'm seeing the red flags of Mr. Big just because I think I've dated a little bit more since.
Also, the general perception, I think, changed in the world.
I don't know if it has,
But dating apps started to be a thing. I don't think
Yeah.
it's so big.
but I don't
6
think there
years
were as
ago.
many like big haters out there as there are today.
I think maybe we're just also overanalyzing everything. Like we are saying how toxic it is, but then we probably beat into
100%.
ourselves
Yeah.
and bear delusion.
Oh, I know I'm a little toxic, but
who isn't?
it's a fun kind of toxic.
I think it's
It's
better
cute.
to be. It's better to be fun than boring
Yeah.
or crazy.
I'm not toxic. I'm a little spicy.
I think the toxicity can evolve from being like bad toxic to fun toxic. So like I've been both sides and I've grown.
I can't wait to make a spreadsheet of bad toxic and fun toxic.
Yeah.
Why are you thinking about spreadsheet?
Because how else are you gonna put things into columns?
Anyway, so yeah, do you like Carrie's ending?
It's fine.
No.
It's fine. It's not my
Maybe you just need to do 12 more episodes and then you will move from no to yes. Or
Carrie, I'm tired. I'm tired of this.
yeah, there were not many endings that we liked. So
Okay, but I
far,
like this
right?
ending. Maybe not the talking part of it, but the cinematics of Miranda and Steve were kind
Oh,
of cute.
yeah, I was all over that.
She literally walked out of the bathroom when we were watching the episode. She's like, I want to kiss someone in the rain.
I mean, it was a happy ending. So just for the sake of giving a little bit change, I like the ending. You know, like I think in today's world, it's nice to have some kind of happy, over romantic piece.
Yeah.
Kind of makes
Yeah.
you feel a little bit better.
I like the Steve and Miranda part of the ending. I don't love the Carrie and Big part of the ending.
Agreed. I think we can agree on that.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to. Oh wow! Oh my god! That that was great timing. Thank you, everyone, for listening to us. It was great to have you, Olivia.
Thanks for having me. This was so fun.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.